So it's just slurry management?
So yeah, we scrape with every milking. So tractor and box scraper scrapes into a central network here, which then connects, I think it's about 400 foot in total from one end to the other, straight into a lagoon. We did have, and we have had working for the last 5 years, a Storth scraper in the bottom of the channels to keep everything moving. That has, as we're talking about sand and wearing parts, that has now broken to the point where it's actually worn through the concrete in the base of the concrete channels and is now bent reinforcing bar up, so it no longer is functional.
Okay.
So the best thing we're planning on doing with this now is all of our dirty water from the parlour is collected, and then that is flushed through at the end of every milking, and it does just keep it moving just about enough.
Okay.
Hopefully then we'll only have to dig it out sort of every 6 weeks or so, the grids network.
Is that stepped, or is it just a flat surface the whole way with a small fall? Or?
One step.
One step is fairly flat, yeah.
So Miles, we're coming up to where the slurry's ultimately finishing up.
Yes, yeah.
So you've moved to steel, I suppose, grates as opposed to maybe concrete ones. It's just easier lift, is it, when you have to clean out for sand?
Easier for lifting, bigger sections, and when you are taking them out, you're not risking damaging them every time you're taking them out. So,
Okay. So we've a big lagoon here anyway. How many million gallons, any idea in there?
I think this one's 4, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I think the first one, so yeah, everything goes into this first lagoon, sort of 4 million gallons, and then, was it about 5 years ago we built the second one?
Yeah, 5, 6 years ago.
About 5, 6 years ago we built the second one, left a clay wall in the middle, it's a bit of a weeping wall, so the idea is that the sand settles into this one and dirty water flows over into the second one.
Okay.
We then have a third small lagoon because of difference in heights and levels, and that collects that's all of our drainage for effluent from the silage clamps.
Right, okay.
And then, we're pumping and umbilicaling and tanking out of here onto maize stubbles and grassland all through the winter. And then, as Dad said before, we dig it out twice a year, all the sand and solids out twice a year at the minute, which goes onto maize stubbles and before reseeding. Potentially looking to put in a separating system to separate out the solids, and maybe then a sand lane to try and separate out the sand before it goes into the lagoon. So we're just pumping liquid then, not too much solids. So,
So we're here in early February now, so there's a lot of activity now with tractors and tanks.
Yeah, so they've just finished. Last week we had 4 tankers going to 200 acres of ground we have a few miles away. They've been nurse tanking up there. Then another farm which we own up the road, they've been filling that all winter. We have just built another lagoon up there to umbilical out, to get slurry out quicker in the summer after each cut of silage.
Yeah.
And with the dry weather where we're at the minute, we are now just tanking onto maize stubbles, so ready for the spring.
Yeah, I'm a dead man walking by day, wondering if there's medicine I can take. Wait until the sun goes down, that's when I can let it out. You can call me crazy, I call it fate. Transformation taking over me. From dusk till dawn, I'm digging my way up the grave. From dusk till dawn, I'm staring my fears in the face. From dusk till dawn, I got to hell to raise. They've got a price to pay. From dusk till dawn, from dusk till dawn. I can feel the ice run through my blood, surges through my body all at once. My heart pumps in the dead of night. My feet run into the fire, right into the fire of my soul.
So in terms of the value of slurry, is it important for you for maize ground and stuff like that? Is it a big value for you?
Massively,
Yeah.
massively.
Particularly,
Yeah.
So the equipment we're looking at, do you do your own slurry or do you do it on contract?
So the first tractor's ours. We run sort of 3 John Deeres, one on feeding, one on field work, and then one which does a bit of yard work and sort of a backup that can feed as well. And then everything else, so all of our slurry management, apart from our 1 tanker, is contracted out. All of our silage harvesting is contracted out. But then we do all of our own ground preparation for reseeds and maize. So all the contractors do with maize is come in and drill it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
Some maize is grown as a crop, and we just buy it as a crop. So,
Contract grown,
on
yeah.
other farms, they do the work on those.
Yeah.
And do you grow under plastic or
No.
no need for it, or you
No,
get
we
good enough
just didn't,
yields?
The cost was too great. It's about 100, 120 pounds an acre,
Yeah.
and I'd sooner go and rent another acre.
Okay.
So if I
Yeah.
can get one.
Right.
So-
Okay. Yeah.
so,
Yeah. So scrapers anyway. You've quite a few here.
Graveyard of scrapers, yeah.
Slow to leave them go.
It's always handy to have them there because it's you never know what spares and bits you can get off them. But
Yeah.
we are due a visit from the scrap man at some point as
Right,
well.
yeah,
But,
yeah. But this
yeah,
one here is
just-
pretty new anyway. Is that the type
we
you
always
work
keep
with?
Yeah. So 7'6" box scraper in the main sheds
Yeah.
on a Kubota scraper tractor. And then in our older style sheds where we've done the far off dry cows, we have a 6'6" scraper on a slightly smaller tractor there.
Okay,
So
yeah.
they're slightly narrower passageways.
Yeah. So you're running 2 loaders then in the yard, is that right?
Yeah,
Looking
so
at
we
a
have
shaper here.
We have a Schaefer for all of the yard work and young stock work. So that does everything around here and travelling up to the other farm to feed young stock. That does all the sanding, and then the JCB does all of the heavy work, so it does all the feeding basically. Feeding, lugging straw.
Yeah, it's
So-
pretty new, that one, is it?
Yeah, we tend to change them every sort of 2 years. So
Okay, yeah. You're a
Yeah.
fan of JCBs?
I do like them, yeah.
Yeah.
The visibility is brilliant out of it, which is a key factor.
Yeah.
And local dealerships, so the backup's pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
And telescopic obviously for the height of the silage is important for you.
Yeah, very, yeah.
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 Okay.